Medjed is a god in ancient Egyptian religion, mentioned in the Book of the Dead. The Book of the Dead is a collection of ancient texts placed on the burial chamber of the deceased in ancient Egypt. Spell 17 of the Book of the Dead mentions Medjed the Smiter in the line, "I know the name of that smiter among them, who belongs to the house of Osiris, who shoots with his eye, yet is unseen." Medjed draws many parallels to the modern mythology of ghosts, and may be the inspiration for the modern method of disguising oneself as a ghost by covering oneself with a white sheet. Modern ghost mythology runs deeper than you might expect, tracing its roots back to the Christian story of Jesus Christ. Many theologians suspect that Jesus' story may have been adapted from the earlier Egyptian myth of Horus, but I am here to tell you that this is a falsehood which runs much, much deeper than that. Consider the following. Medjed is a ghost god who created the Halloween tradition of covering oneself with a sheet. From illustrations, we can see that he does, in fact, have feet, insinuating there is a humanoid god beneath the covering. Medjed most likely wears this covering because he is shy and jealous of the greater Egyptian gods for their more awesome powers. Everyone knows that the other Egyptian gods died because people stopped believing in them when they all died too. Jesus was born toward the end of the ancient Egyptian rule. What is most suspicious are the evident parallels between Medjed and Jesus. If you look closely, it's right in front of your eyes. Baby Jesus was simply Medjed appearing for the first time without his cloak on. Given that a virgin birth is biologically impossible, Medjed most likely bribed teenagers Mary and Joseph with cannabis, often referred to as the frankincense brought by one of the three wise men. We know this because of the presence of med, or medicine, or medicinal. Cannabis used legally in consenting countries is often referred to as medicinal. The Last Supper, where the so-called Jesus announced his own death, is described in the Book of the Dead, could only have been possible if Jesus and his followers had been under the influence of cannabis. This was most likely mistranslated to wine by colonizing whites who were offended by the endorsement of this dangerous illegal drug. If you take a look at the typical depiction of Jesus with a halo, it is clear to see the outline of Medjed in his cloak is represented. This tells us the full story. Medjed, in an effort to survive the fall of Egypt, revealed himself to the humans without his sheet. When people fervently followed his teachings and took it too far, Medjed staged his own brutal execution and death, when, in reality, he is near immortal and was not harmed. After his burial, he re-emerged from his tomb as a ghost, because he had redonned his sheet so that people would not recognize him. Jesus is the Son of God, but is also God himself. Now we know that the Abrahamic God is actually Medjed, revealed and then redisguised after faking his own death. Medjed, being shy and reserved, was disgusted by the sexual nature of the other Egyptian gods, who were hedonistic and perverted, and took his opportunity to rewrite the world and its major religions in his own image. We can see this influence in everyday situations, such as when we fly on a jet, or Jed. Jet is also a song by Paul McCartney and Wings about being high, like a jet, on cannabis. The cover for the single in Sweden depicts a topless woman, much like the Egyptian god Nut. Nut, or nut, is slang for ejaculate, or to ejaculate. Michael Jordan has famously